I'm Pauline. Standing in the warehouse, watching the bustling activity around me, I can't help but cast my mind back to that pivotal day when my career hung in the balance. It was a turning point that transformed not just my life but also the dynamics of this place I've come to call my second home. A few months ago, the company was in chaos. The holiday season was fast approaching, but instead of the usual organized preparation, there was mayhem. Store managers were furious, calling non-stop to complain about receiving the wrong products. The supervisor's office phone was ringing off the hook, and the already tense atmosphere in the warehouse hit a new level of stress. Our company, Zenith Trade Company, was no small operation. Under the leadership of Mr. Thompson, a shrewd 65-year-old with a sharp business acumen and a strict yet fair demeanor, it had grown into a successful enterprise selling a wide range of products from camping gear to winter apparel. Mr. Thompson built the company from the ground up, starting with a small storefront and growing it into a vast network of suppliers and retailers. His son, Ethan, a 28-year-old fresh out of a top-tier business school, had recently joined the company with a fancy title of Senior Operations Analyst. He came in with an air of superiority, expensive suits, and an attitude that he knew everything better than those of us who had been working here for years. I had been working at Zenith Trade Company for 9 years. I started right after finishing high school in my small hometown, where job opportunities were scarce. I love this job because I have a passion for logistics. I knew the ins and outs of the warehouse like the back of my hand, understanding which products sold best in different seasons, which suppliers were reliable, and how to optimize the shipping process. One fateful Tuesday morning, we had our regular team meeting. Usually, it was led by our floor supervisor, a kind-hearted woman named Hannah, who had been with the company for over 12 years. But that day, Ethan walked in, looking every bit the part of a young executive on a power trip. "Good morning, everyone," he said, barely glancing at us. "From now on, I'll be taking over these morning briefings. My father thinks it's time I get more hands-on with the operations." We all nodded, not daring to question. He went on to talk about new goals, increased efficiency, and cutting down on costs. It all sounded great in theory, but those of us on the floor knew it wasn't that simple. Then he brought up the holiday shipment schedule. "This year, we're pushing everything out early. Fall products go out this week, and winter items next week. I've already revised the distribution list." My stomach dropped. I raised my hand, an old habit from school. I immediately felt silly, but he noticed me. "Sir, I think there might be a problem with those lists," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "The numbers don't match what the stores actually ordered. The southern stores usually order more fall and winter transitional items, while the northern stores need full-blown winter gear earlier." He looked at me as if I had just interrupted his grand plan with a trivial matter. "The numbers are correct." I double-checked them myself. I tried to explain further, "Sir, if we send heavy winter coats to the coastal stores where it hardly gets cold, they'll just send them back. It'll cost us time and money." I wasn't trying to be a troublemaker. I had seen this kind of mistake happen 5 years ago, and it had been a nightmare that took months to fix and cost the company hundreds of thousands of dollars. Ethan stared at me for a long moment, then laughed mockingly. "What's your name?" he asked. "Pauline," I replied. "And what do you do here, Pauline?" "You're just a warehouse worker. You load boxes. You're too stupid to understand the bigger picture. Just do as you're told and keep your mouth shut." The words hit me like a bullet. I felt my face flush with embarrassment, and my hands started to tremble. I wanted to defend myself, to tell him that I had more experience in this warehouse than he had in the company. But he was the boss's son, and I was just a low-level worker. The meeting ended, and everyone scattered. I went to work, but I was in a haze. I watched as the trucks were loaded with the wrong products, destined for the wrong places. I could see the disaster unfolding in real time, but Ethan's words kept echoing in my head. I kept quiet and did as I was told. That evening, I sat in my car for half an hour, my hands still shaking. I was angry, humiliated, and felt completely worthless. All my years of hard work and knowledge meant nothing to him. When I got home, I found an old journal in my drawer and started writing. I wrote down every detail of what had happened that morning, hoping that putting it on paper would make me feel better, that it would validate my feelings. Days passed, and the situation worsened. The phone calls from store managers became more frequent and more furious. Hannah, the supervisor, was on the verge of a breakdown, trying to calm everyone down but having no real solution. Ethan started to become desperate, but instead of admitting his mistake, he started blaming the warehouse workers, the drivers, and even the suppliers. 3 weeks later, on a Friday evening, when most of the workers had left, I was doing the final inventory checks. I heard hurried footsteps behind me, and there was Ethan. He looked a mess, his hair was disheveled, his suit was wrinkled, and he was sweating profusely. "Pauline," he gasped. "I need your help. This shipment mess has gotten out of control. My father is coming back on Monday, and he's going to want answers." I just stared at him, no words coming out. He continued, "You've been here the longest. You know the suppliers, the products. Can you tell me how to fix this?" I thought about all the times he had belittled me, the humiliation I had endured. Why would someone you called too stupid to matter know anything useful? I asked quietly. He looked ashamed. "I'm sorry. I was under a lot of pressure. I didn't mean what I said." I shook my head. "No, you meant it. And now, this is your problem to solve. I'm just here to load trucks, remember?" He pleaded, offering me promotions, raises, anything I wanted. But for me, it wasn't about the money. It was about respect. I walked past him and headed towards the exit, leaving him standing there alone. On Monday morning, Mr. Thompson arrived earlier than expected. The warehouse was a hive of activity, but there was an underlying tension. Mr. Thompson called me over. "Pauline, I'm told you tried to warn my son about the shipment problem. Can you tell me exactly what happened?" I took a deep breath and recounted the events, sticking to the facts about the incorrect distribution lists. I didn't mention the insult because I wanted to keep the focus on the problem. When I finished, Mr. Thompson turned to Ethan. "Is this true?" Ethan nodded, looking miserable. "You didn't even bother to check her concerns? She's been here for 9 years, and you thought you knew better?" Mr. Thompson said, his voice filled with disappointment. Then he turned to me. "Pauline, I'm truly sorry for what my son did. You were right, and if we had listened to you, we could have avoided this mess that cost us millions of dollars and damaged our relationships with many stores." He then made a decision. "Ethan, you're going to spend the next 6 months learning the warehouse operations from the ground up. And you'll report directly to Pauline. I'm promoting Pauline to floor operations lead. She has the knowledge and the experience to lead this team, and I want you to listen to her and learn." I was stunned. Ethan looked like he had just been hit by a truck. But he didn't argue. From that day on, a new chapter began. Ethan started working long hours, doing the same manual labor as the rest of us. At first, he struggled. He was used to sitting in an office, not lifting heavy boxes and organizing inventory. But gradually, he started to change. He stopped complaining and started to ask questions. He listened to my instructions and tried his best to learn. One day, when we had an urgent order to fulfill, he stepped up and took charge. He managed to gather the right products and get the truck out on time with incredible accuracy. I was impressed but still cautious. 2 months in, one of our new workers made a big mistake and loaded a truck with the wrong products. The worker was beside himself with fear, thinking he was going to be fired. Ethan stepped in and said, "It's an honest mistake. He's still learning. Let's help him fix it." After that incident, he came to me privately. Pauline, I get it now. I was so arrogant before. I didn't understand the hard work and knowledge of the people on the floor. I see now that respect is earned, not given because of a title. I looked at him and saw the sincerity in his eyes. Okay, you're learning. Just keep it up. As the months passed, Ethan continued to improve. He became a valuable member of the team, and the other workers started to accept him. A year later, during the holiday season, everything ran smoothly. Not a single store had a complaint, and the shipments were all on time and accurate. Mr. Thompson called a company-wide meeting. Last year, we faced a huge disaster. But this year, we've achieved our most successful holiday season ever. It's because we learned to respect each other, to listen to each other. Ethan, you've learned an important lesson about leadership, and Pauline, you've proven that standing up for what's right is always worth it. After the meeting, Ethan approached me. Pauline, I've thought a lot about that day. I should have listened to you from the start. You changed my life by not giving up on me. I smiled. It wasn't about you. It was about me proving that I'm not the one who's stupid, that experience and knowledge matter. And I'm glad you've changed. Looking around at the warehouse and all the hard-working people, I realized that I had come a long way. I was no longer just a warehouse worker. I was a leader, someone who mattered, and no one could ever take that away from me.